podcast.
Right?
I swear this guy was really good.
We are all unmiked. Guys, let us know how we hear at home, how we are heard at home. If we sound decent, let us know. If not, I guess also let us know. That would be convenient. We have such a lovely group of people here today. Typically I'll like be paranoid and wait for a response from chat, but I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, if anything, just plain Pocket if we sound horrible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
That is
that's
a
my first go-to.
fantastic idea. I am pumped because tonight we have a great podcast for you. We have the lovely Kirblet, who you've seen on here, Unjacked, who's back.
My third time.
Their third time. Unjacked.
Third time.
Man, time flies. It's and you know
Turkey.
what? Yes, like I am honored that you guys will spend the time with me. Honestly, like every time I do this,
I don't know how you put up with me.
No. I feel like bringing in the entire crowd and just having everyone here like a party. Unjacked, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you inviting me back. This is only my second
Always.
time, but
No,
I'm rooting for a third in the future.
oh, dude, come on. It's consider it done. Even though, like, yeah, we used to hang out more. We need to hang out more. And the Joho, for the first time, I'm able to catch his setup, which we went over. Somehow I missed your streams then. That was a fun one.
No, this setup is brand new. I did my first stream from this setup
Ooh.
earlier this week, 2 days ago.
Yeah,
This setup is like all brand new. So
I like
the location
it.
has changed and everything.
It's nice. You've got the Apple Store vibe, and the Transformer.
This is not a Transformer. Do you know what this is, sir?
Oh,
Yes,
no.
yes.
Gundam.
Oh no.
This is a Gundam, sir.
Yeah.
I will be putting this together
Gundam!
on stream.
I just.
I'll be putting this together on stream.
Oh, great. Yes. When is it gonna be this week, guys? Check out these people.
Yeah, I think so.
Check out these people. And thank you everyone at home for joining us, the people I can see from afar, Normcore and Slight, Joho, is both places, and Sween, Maddie, anywho, everyone is here, everyone's around. So yeah, that is really cool. That's a really cool setup you have there, Joho. I don't have a great setup. People, when I started streaming, they're like, man, I really like your setup. That like you know, my dad came on. He's like, "What are you in a comedy cellar?" But I have the brick wall behind me, and people like that for some reason. I was like,
I love it. Yeah,
What
I get a kick out of it. I was just commenting before we went live on
What are you with the
Unjacked
improv?
Kirblets.
yeah, they have.
I wish you would
setup.
put improv behind them and like in a neon
Yeah, I
light.
know, right?
Oh my
Yes.
god, yeah, I could do that. There's a tacky photo of me up at the improv, giving like the most like comedian like smile. It's such a dorky photo that I cringe
There
at
you
it.
go.
Like that.
You got to do the pose.
Yeah, I was there for something, and then I just went up after everyone was done, and I'm like, can I just take a photo on stage? And then, you know. But we are getting quickly diverted, but that's the job for a little bit into the show.
What did I say? Penny on the railroad tracks.
Penny on the railroad
That's it.
tracks. We're gonna just go
Embrace the
wherever it
chaos.
takes us. Tonight we're going to talk about a lot of great news, but first we have to have the guests give a proper introduction because you guys should be following these people if you have not. And you know, let's start off with, I guess, Joho. You're newest on the cast. Would you like to give a small introduction?
Yeah, I am your friendly neighborhood basement dweller, Joe the Joho Vega. I am the rogue deck builder for the CR Game Room. I also like to do some stuff on the side, variety streamer. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and plug the game room because Mike, who's also been on the PockCast before, Ingledoom, he's gonna be
Yes.
doing some, or he should be doing
Ooh.
some South Park stream tonight here in about
Wait, which South
I want
Park?
to say an hour and 15 minutes.
South Park
It's,
64, Chef's Love
just-
Shack.
No,
South Park Rally?
Fractured but whole.
Okay.
Fractured but
Ah.
whole.
The canceled
Yes.
Game Boy Color game. I know of all
Oh
of
man,
them. The canceled Game Boy
I
Color
forgot
game.
about the canceled Game Boy game. Yeah, I forgot about the canceled Game Boy Color game. Yeah,
The ROM was
No.
found.
nice. So he's gonna be doing that. I normally stream. My schedule's kind of messed up since I have a lot more availability. I quit my job, so I'm kind of in this weird flux to where I'm like having to juggle my personal responsibilities while also trying to pick up back on stream and like have an actual schedule for everybody. So that's still
Yeah.
pending. I can go ahead and plug my Twitch channel here.
Yeah,
But you can find
please.
me everywhere else under the same moniker, the_Joho or the Joho. Yeah, and I'm here for the lulls. I'm here for the love, and I'm here for your basement dwelling picks too. So.
Basement dwellings. Yeah, it's like it's I am the basement dweller on Twitch. Like that's like a subcategory on Twitch, right? It's gotta be.
Well, I want to start a
It's gotta be a
podcast.
tag.
Is
Basement
that a
dweller.
stream tag?
Typical-
Can we use it as a stream tag? Basement dwellers.
It's gotta be.
It should be. It should be. So I want to start a podcast, and that's going to be the name: Basement
it.
Dwellers Anonymous.
Love
I
it.
like
I've already
I like
The
that.
I love
BDA.
Yeah.
We are the BDA.
The sun's trying to kill you. Kirblet, would you like to go next?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you have not heard of me, that's okay. My name is the Kirblet. I am a retro and casual streamer. You can find me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/thekirblet. It is thereby linked in the chat. And I'm happy to be back, as always. Thank you, Pocket, for having me.
Absolutely. And he has the best setup. I'll point in the right direction. He has the best setup of all of us. I mean, look at that. Did you commission
It's
the pixel
just a
art?
green screen.
It's a nice
I didn't
setup.
do the pixel art. I did
Looks
not do the
great, though.
pixel art.
Okay,
But I need to make my own background.
yeah, you should.
That's
you
a project
should.
that's been way in the
Who
way in
did
the
that? Because that has a very Naruto boy feel.
The long
I don't know. It
lines.
was a free asset.
That's
it
awesome.
was it's a royalty free thing. So it's like I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Mhm.
So.
It looks great. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, part of me doesn't want to do the whole like green screened background thing, but if I did do the green screen background, I would like to have an intricate fake background behind me, like that. But I would like to like integrate other things in front of me to have like a proper
Yeah.
feel. Like you could put like a pixel art beer in front
Like
of
I
me.
wanted to do an actual like arcade,
Yeah.
arcade cabinet background
Do
and
it.
stuff.
That'd
I want
be
to do like a
awesome.
perspective kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of my goals.
Definitely do it. Definitely go on Fiverr or something. Get that done. Or I mean, Kirblet's been doing
Yeah.
pixel art himself, but we have.
I need to pick that back up. I've been
You do.
really slacking on that. I've actually just been super busy with.
I'll
life
show you some of
lately,
mine.
so.
I still have to send you some of mine. Last but
Ah.
far from least, Unjacked is here again.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm a full-time streamer here on Twitch. I stream every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Been doing it for about a year and a half. I really focus on variety games, but more of a community streamer. So play a lot of like Goose Goose Duck, Among Us, anything that has multiplayer. And but my favorite thing to do, podcasting.
Yes.
I do I do a show called Tea with Unjacked. You can see all the episodes, previous ones on YouTube. Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. That's why I'm aiming to be is a world-class podcaster.
But
That's the
Unjacked
goal.
is smart enough to also like, it's not pigeonhole yourself, but you're smart enough to actually find a niche and strike it while it's hot. So you're the person to. You're hitting those
In a way,
Goose Goose Duck and Among Us. You're doing secret role games with small creatures.
I just have found a way to trick people to watch me play games as I podcast.
Yes. Isn't
Yeah,
that what Twitch
that's all.
is?
It's just the guys. The
Isn't that-
gaming is just the guys.
Yeah, it's great. Yes, these are some really fantastic people. Definitely do follow them if you haven't. And we can go from here. Let's go to some news. We'll start off with the biggest news of the week because, I mean, I think it's the biggest news of the week was the new Switch was announced.
Oh,
and
I thought you
revealed.
were gonna talk about Virgin Mobile going into space. I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh,
the
no,
Virgin Mobile space race.
No, typically
Was that
my favorite thing is to find like the weirdest piece of news for the week. So it's let's see. But anywho, I'll find that on my own.
that was
I mean, I don't know if you want the weirdest news. I don't know if you want to open that can of worms.
yeah, it gets pretty out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the Gulf was on fire. The Gulf was on fire not once but twice last week. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Gulf of Mexico. Happened to be very close to the coast, not too close, but close enough to where it kind of ruined our vacation plans.
Crafty
Oh,
woman.
joy.
Crafty woman pretends to be pregnant to sneak bag onto a 31-pound flight. There you go. Like, there's your goofy news of the week. Yes. So Richard Branson.
Now everybody's gonna be like watching and waiting for that one, waiting for us to weigh in on that one.
Yes.
You're gonna hear the audience like, "Where was this at? Why didn't we find out more?"
Why don't we need to know more? The people get what they want. Not this time though. Tonight we're talking about the new Switch.
Yay.
What is new with the Switch?
Oh boy.
That's the real question. Like,
yeah.
if I were to, it would make for a great TikTok video. Like, oh man, I've got the new Switch right here. I mean, it's the same. It's what's different. It's the same Switch. You're holding up the same Switch.
Do we want to start with like our reactions or
yeah, let's go with
let's do the numbers. So I want to break down the numbers because like there is differences between the OLED version and what we have now.
Yes,
so.
there are actual differences, but it's you know a little it's a little like this is a T-Switch before the next Switch. That's what it seems like to me. But anywho, go on. What is your first reactions, guys? Joho, I guess since you.
Oh no, I was wanting to do the breakdown first because.
Okay,
that
yes,
was what you asked first. Sorry.
The breakdown.
I've got
so
stuff right here.
The real difference between the Switch and the OLED Switch is, I believe it is a $50 difference. With the new Switch, you get an OLED screen, you get a better kickstand, and you get
wider.
Yes, a wider display. Though is it a slimmer bezel? I don't think it's that much actually.
No.
Bigger.
The
bigger screen.
The kickstand is wider. It doesn't. Let's not confuse it. It's not better. It's just wider. The kickstand will never be good enough to hold that.
The kickstand they went with the Microsoft Surface approach, if you guys know that, where like originally they had a little dinky kickstand. Now they have this like giant kickstand in the back, so it can hold more weight, and it is quote unquote a technically better kickstand because it has more angles to it, because you need 6 angles for a kickstand
on your Switch when you're out and about gaming.
Yeah, when that Joy-Con drift needs to be available to multiple people while the kickstand lifts higher. Yeah, so that is bigger, but I thought you were talking about the screen. The screen is also 7 inches now. Am I right, Kirblet? You've got the
about
specs.
that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is increased.
It is. Yeah, it is bigger.
It is a bigger screen.
7 inches confirmed.
Yes, and a better screen, OLED, which I will not say OLED is gorgeous. I don't know if you guys had a Vita back in the day.
Yes.
So they're promising 4K gaming out of it, which is something new to the Switch as well.
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
Is it?
No, it's not.
That's what they're touting the capability of it, I guess.
The 4K?
There's what I've read in some reviews.
Interesting. I have to look at that.
I'm trying to
I haven't seen that.
Because the 4K was a big rumor, but there's no
because
increase.
There's no upgrades internally. There's no extra RAM. There's no
real
increase.
Even Nintendo employees are going, if you've got the original Switch, you don't need to upgrade to this.
Yeah, that was one of the pieces of news this week.
There was it's also got an expanded gone to 64 gigabytes of internal storage versus the 32 it comes the original comes with.
Just in case you didn't want to like if you had 32 like whatever. It's got 32 gigs more of storage. Like, okay, you're buying an SD card anyways. What game do you want to play on there? If it's Fortnite, you probably need to already. Like, I'm just thinking, what's the casual consumer going to get, right?
Yeah, this is exactly what Nintendo said they were going to put into a new model.
Oh, really?
Everything is there that they said they were going to put into a new model.
And nothing
that they literally put out.
Nothing that people speculated, but everything that they said that they were going.
Nothing that people speculated would happen, but everything that Nintendo said would happen is here in this new model.
Yes.
They never promised 4K. They never promised anything that the internet hyped up that might happen as this rumor.
I don't see
No,
why.
this is exactly what Nintendo promised, and that's what they got. Nothing really
Personally,
more than
I don't
that.
know. Personally, I don't think it needs 4K. But now that we've broken it down, let's go with reactions. Joho, is it a good time for reactions?
Yeah, well, another thing that wasn't mentioned in the specs is that they now have, instead of the third USB port in the back, that's been replaced with the
Oh,
LAN
yes.
adapter connection that's already like it's built into it.
The
So
dock
you
is,
don't
Yeah.
have to spend the $40 extra on the LAN adapter.
Yeah.
Which that's huge because I myself use it for one thing and one thing only, and that's Super Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Because Nintendo's wireless network is trash. I'm just
Still
gonna come out and
trash.
say it.
And they also
Yeah,
You mean
it's
still trash?
yeah.
they also don't do
It's been
yeah.
Words.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that they do it in
Yeah.
a specific way that is in real time, which means that if there's any lag, it stops both players, as opposed to something. I'm mentioning Fortnite again. Fortnite does the like the what is it? It's like rewind. So when you do something, it predicts what you're going to do next, and then it backtracks if it gets it wrong. You don't need
rollback,
to-
yeah.
Rollback netcode. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So-
It doesn't work for fighting games.
Yeah, and that's also been a big issue in the Smash community within itself. But that's a whole nother topic. So that's another thing. Listen, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't think I'm ever gonna buy it
Yeah.
unless I trash one of my two Switches, because that's my wife's, and then I have mine down here.
You can just buy
And
the dock.
well, I mean, we're fine with what we have because, like you said, I already have my memory card. I don't need the extra memory.
Yeah.
I don't need the 64 bits
That's
or
what I
64
got.
gigs. None of that stuff. So,
I mean,
like, this really is only appealing to people who didn't already have a Switch.
Yes.
That's really where the market's
this is
going.
their target. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
if yeah, this Switch already does everything I need it to do, and if I take it to Smash tournaments, it's better to use the older versions than newer ones because the TOs rely on that extra USB port in the back, for their content creating portions to monitor the screens and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was going to say like the difference is like you lose a USB port, which is weird.
That's actually a pretty big deal because the dock itself only has two on the side and the one
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, it's three
And
total, and so it's
honestly,
just like
yeah, you need more. In my opinion, you need more.
I don't know if like for the casual consumer you need more, but yes, like it's
Well, okay, so like you buy your professional controller, which
Yeah.
the Pro controller or any other variant of that.
yeah.
Most of them they come wireless, but like these like they have the special like Splatoon version Pro controllers or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you got the special like Mario version
There are
that's
a
like
bunch that are
more that's
wired.
closer to the GameCube.
Yeah.
Those are all wired. Every
Yes.
single one of those require wired connection. So in all reality, if I'm playing a multiplayer game at home and
Yeah.
it's 4 to 8 players, I prefer to be wired in. I don't like wireless. I don't like messing with the recharging and batteries and stuff like that. Like I prefer to be wired. That's just me.
interesting.
Though.
Well, the Pro controller itself is just like I've had a couple secondary controllers. The Pro controller is fantastic. So I mean, I don't mind because it'll last for weeks on a charger, something stupid. And so that's why I don't mind. But if they're putting out a bunch of those controllers, I understand they probably even need a splitter because you want to have 4 players playing, and you can't do that if there's 3 ports. And they are.
Yeah, they don't even have
a
official splitters to sell.
Yeah,
you have
for
to
sure.
get everything secondary or third party market.
Yeah.
Like this is the one of the ones that they have that's wired. It's the Mario and Luigi version of that. So
Yeah. Which is there's a little rabbit hole I could go down there. But before that, Kirblet, what was your reaction to the new Nintendo Switch?
Nice. Yeah. My reaction was
1X.
basically, hey, cool. That's nice for new people who haven't got a Switch. That's awesome. This is a great model to get into.
Series X.
Not so much for people like me who already have the original Switch already here.
Yeah.
So
The original one's hackable.
it's nice. It's cool. Yeah. If you're a person who hasn't gotten a Switch yet, this is perfect for you.
Yeah.
Like this would be a perfect thing to get like as a Christmas gift, and it's supposed to come out during the holidays.
Yeah.
I just hope that scalpers don't get their grubby little hands on them before we could even get one.
Oh, they would. The second they heard it, they were like, "Oh, something." Just buying.
Yeah.
They're buying up everything. They're buying all the Pokemon cards.
Mhm.
Eh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's fairly simple. The new Switch. I'm waiting a year. I'm waiting a year. Maybe I'll get the newer Switch. But I still have to get like I have so many games on Xbox and PS4. Xbox, yeah, Xbox. It doesn't matter because they're all the same. And PS4, so I have to get those first. I'm like, why would I get a new Switch when I have so many games to play that I need to buy those consoles for? Anywho, Unjacked. Let's see.
Yeah.
What were your
I'm a lot
thoughts?
like I'm a lot like these guys. I don't own a Switch. I don't
Yeah.
want a Switch,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't buy it unless I really wanted a Switch and didn't have one already. And like everybody in my house has a Switch, so I bought 5 Switches for
Oh, man.
every single person in my house. And they don't use the screen. They literally plug it into all the 4K TVs that they
Yep.
want. So
Yeah,
like
that's the thing.
there's just really not a lot of selling points here. And we're talking 32 to 64 gigs of RAM, like
Yeah, that is the
or
only.
whatever it is,
Once-
memory. It just feels so insulting, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And kind of classic Nintendo in my view.
I mean,
Mm.
you have to give them some leeway in the fact that this was the year where getting I forget what it's called, but getting this Switch Pro into production would be hellfire for them.
Yes.
And so I'm giving them a little bit of slack there, right? Like you're giving us the DS Lite, cool, right? This is for the people like I think I forget who I was talking to, which is great. Typical
Did
me.
you mean the Switch Lite, not the
He meant the
DS
Switch Lite. Yeah, he meant the Switch Lite.
No, I was saying like this is their DS Lite. When the DS came out,
Okay. Yeah.
this is their equivalent of the DS Lite. Okay, it's looks a little bit different. I mean, they could have actually overdone made the design a little bit smoother. Maybe make it like the Vita looked, give it a little more glass on it. I don't know. They could have made it look more different. But it is a slightly more premium product for someone who doesn't have the Switch already. And I forget who I was talking to the other day, but I was talking to them, and they're like, you know what? I've been looking for an excuse to buy a new Switch. The Switch is a 5-year-old product. Now there's an excuse. So there you go.
Has it really been 5 years?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like throwing that number out there.
This is year 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. It's 5 years.
That seems like they're really due for a better upgrade.
Yep.
Then.
Yep.
I
They
feel like
really are.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's like next year. There's clearly something to the speculation.
I kind of think of this as their official revision, kind of like the PS3 with the different versions that they had, like the Slim and stuff like that. Same with the PS4. I think this is Nintendo's answer to that at this point.
Well,
Like,
they've
it's the
always
same
done.
stuff.
Nintendo's always done this since the Game Boy. They had
Yeah.
Game Boy, and then they had the
Well,
Pocket Color,
since the NES,
SP, or Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, they've always done
since the NES,
secret versions.
there's the top
there's
loading
one
NES.
other thing to consider though. There's already a shortage on Switches, or there have been. How are they going to deal with this in the future? I mean, obviously, a lot of people aren't going to be buying this because most of them probably already have a Switch. But if they couldn't even fill the other one, man,
Yeah.
with COVID and all the like shipping issues and supply chains being disrupted,
Yeah.
I'm hard pressed to see this actually come out anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, like the hardcore fans are not getting their second Switch right now, probably, which is good.
Right.
But Nintendo has been selling everything like hotcakes. Like no matter
Oh
what.
no, absolutely. But I'm saying they don't have enough supply.
Yeah, they already don't have enough supply, so it's kind of a good thing. Right? It's
Right.
kind of a good thing
Good
that's
for
an
them.
incremental. Yeah, good for Nintendo. But I also think that Nintendo would be the company that finds a way to kind of be able to get their game out to consumers, even if they do something like, that feels a little shifty, like giving it to them for a small period of time. Like I mean, I didn't mind the NES and SNES Mini, but the Mario 3D World Collection, that was a little bit of a tough one to digest. Even though copies of Mario 3D World are down in price, you can go and get them for like $40, or sorry, maybe $50 instead of $60. Kind of crazy. So Dirkwing in chat says, "I think the N64 Mini, if they make them, will outsell the new Switch." Absolutely. I mean, because I don't have an N64 Mini. So I would definitely get that.
I would
so
like
with
to
the
see
Mini-
a GameCube Mini. I'd rather see a GameCube Mini than an
Yeah.
N64.
I feel like that would be more likely, honestly.
With the minis,
Mm.
they do it's that kind of buy now impulse control or impulse
Yeah.
buy kind of deal. Like they've done that since the NES Classic or the NES Mini.
Right.
The first time they made it a limited edition kind of deal, and people are gonna go in on that.
But it's also
They're
great.
just gonna
It's also a great device and deal.
I
Like,
don't
it's
know
not that-
how that I don't know. This is going to be a hot take here. I
Ooh, hot
don't know
takes.
if they're going to do.
Yes.
I got one next.
Let's make people
the one
mad.
problem it's going to be doing something like the N64 or the GameCube Mini is the limitations on the current technology. What I mean by that is take FPGA. If people don't know what that is, it's called a field programmable gate array. It allows you to program different cores and instructions on hardware operations. It's also responsible for stuff like the Mister project, like the analog consoles like the Super NT and the Mega Drive, Mega SD, stuff like that. And apparently there's a limitation at some point as to what kind of cores or emulation cores and hardware emulation cores that you can put on these chips and keep them the size that they are. So there's going to be a limit to where that's going to be without new chips coming out. So I don't know if it's going to be feasible maybe for Nintendo to put out a mini for N64 or GameCube because of the complex technology involved in 3D graphics like that. Now, retro 3D graphic stuff, that's not as difficult. But 3D graphics going to be a whole new ball game, especially recreating the chips for the N64, because emulation is still having having the best time.
Yeah, they've always had trouble
emulating.
with N64. Any early on 3D, like when I used to, I had a friend who did this, and it definitely wasn't me. He had Star Fox, on the Super Nintendo, and that 3D was the only Super Nintendo game that was hard to emulate. It would always run slow.
Yeah.
And I get that. It doesn't run the same way. And the story of how they made that game as well is something to look up if you guys don't know it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But it's because it is crazy. Like they are, putting 3D models on the Super Nintendo was not easy. So
was that from My Life in Gaming?
I don't remember. My Life in Gaming is a great channel though. If you guys haven't seen it,
yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff up there. The N64 is hard to emulate, but they'll still figure it out. There's a lot of, I'm sure they still have the source code. If not, we have a lot of it. Someone's with the source code, you can redo it all.
That we also need to take into account here is when talking about going back and just for the nostalgia factor, putting out these systems or these older games and stuff like that. Nintendo's was already doing that, and they're making us pay the $60 all over again. Case in point, the Mario All-Stars collection.
Yeah.
Right? What they're doing is they're just putting Switch versions or updated versions, even in some cases, just the same thing. They're just reskinning it.
Yeah.
And they're just putting it on the newest console. And they're going to keep doing that. And that's what consumers are looking for. They're like, yeah, why would I need to reconnect my N64 whenever I could just have it on my newer console with some updated or an HD version, right? They're selling Twilight, or they're selling Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah.
Something that nobody really asked for. We got it. People are paying for it, but I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's all a cash grab anyway when it comes to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, the whole reason why these mini systems are even like coming out is because they're so upset of people of emulating their games and just having like every Nintendo game on your computer. Like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were lawsuits on this, and then this is why they do the mini. They took all those emulation games, they packaged them up, and they sold them to you at full price. And these are reasons why I just don't go down Nintendo's road. You know?
I mean, they in a way they answered my calls, right? Like, I'm like, hey,
yeah.
I don't
I mean,
want
there's
to
good
pirate
and
your
there's a
stuff.
bad side to it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't know, Kirblet. I don't know if it's gonna be that hard to emulate, because they've done the legwork to emulate all these things for the Wii U. If you look at the Wii U's catalog, they have a ton of N64 games that work fine on it, especially the iconic ones. You've got Donkey Kong 64, Mario Party, Mario Kart 64, all those things, and they work in the Wii U, like nothing. You know, and so they've got to be
Yeah.
using some sort of emulation. It's got to be something that's pretty easy to
Well,
load on something else.
there's a lot more of the minutia when you talk about bringing back systems or bringing back games. A lot of the other issue with Nintendo is that they use a lot of smaller independent studios to make a lot of the best-selling games that we know to this date. For those systems, you can't do that anymore because one, copyright issues,
Yeah,
but two, the studios have that, or Nintendo has that, and they're holding on to that license specifically because they don't want to see somebody else go and either redo the game or redo the formula and outsell Nintendo.
Interesting. I mean, I
Mhm.
touching on the first part of that, like, I was actually really happy when I heard MGM bought by Amazon. Because to me, it felt like that would be a way we could actually get the N64 Mini and actually have GoldenEye on it.
Is that worth the monopoly though that Amazon?
Yeah, that's what I'm
ultimately
saying. Like,
wants?
I don't like corporate buyouts.
I'm not a huge fan of-
or multiple mergers.
Don't get me wrong, like there are huge
Pile in
problems with
pocket.
there are huge problems with everything with it. But I might get one thing out of this. This is going on without me being part of it. But
You know what? I
don't-
like that attitude. Believe it or not, I actually like that attitude.
don't get me
You know, like,
wrong. It's not like
they're gonna get us anyway.
yeah. No,
He's a glass half full kind of guy right there.
Yeah.
I'm saying, look,
Yeah.
are you saying then that when they come out with GoldenEye on an N64 Mini, you're not gonna get it? You're gonna be the guy who's like, you know what? I'm gonna say I'm not okay with this acquisition, so I'm not gonna buy the N64 Mini, even though it has GoldenEye on it. I don't know. I would be the guy who's like, I don't have a hand in this, and this brings up a more philosophical question, which we can get into or not, up to you guys. I'll get to in a second, but yeah, I would be the guy who'd be like, this was what actually got us GoldenEye back. So I'm gonna get GoldenEye. That's basically it. I'm not gonna really praise Amazon. They're
as far as like the
trouble already.
morality of
Yeah,
buyouts and mergers,
yeah.
I can't really say much because I'm frantically looking forward to Fantastic Four coming into the MCU.
Exactly.
I was there whenever I was there. I was all for Spider-Man being brought into the MCU. So
Right.
like that, the whole Fox and merger with Disney,
Yeah.
I may have had my doubts, but as far as like, I'm all for it as long as we get to do
Granted.
things, we get access to old things that we wouldn't otherwise because of copyrights or because of legal loopholes or because people are just being a-holes about it.
It's I mean, look, it's a bag of worms, but then
Rick Wink
there's
brings up a good point.
which one?
Yeah, I wish I could agree. I actually boycott Disney actively. Like nobody's allowed to buy anything from Disney in this house.
Oh,
Like
nice.
I am so actively against these kind of mergers because they transcend games. I mean, they actually affect us as real people,
Oh,
so,
yeah, for sure.
It's
I mean, that's just
I don't understand the legal aspects of this, but it still feels weird to me that you can have a trademark monopoly, a content and nostalgia monopoly, it's I guess it's a property monopoly, which these are all properties. How are you able to do that? I mean, the game Monopoly was made to show people the horrors of Monopoly, and I don't know. Disney is a monopoly, but they're not because they own IP. So, like, I still think that should be under some sort of.
There's a legal loophole with the trust busting law that Roosevelt created, and it doesn't apply. That law isn't updated to media. So media properties are completely fine as far as monopolies go.
I have a friend who
I mean, what are you gonna do? Tell an artist they can't paint anymore? That's what they'd say.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's more towards the merchandising and the production of merchandise where that sort of gets into it, right? If Disney has to find a way to make sure that they're using independent companies and factories and not their own to do all the merchandising. Otherwise, they would have a true monopoly. All the money would just go right back to them.
That's
that's why they just extend the copyright expiration terms, basically. That's what Disney is doing.
They can find ways around it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Just remake the movie one more time.
It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely bonkers. And I don't know. What do you guys think about boycotting? So, like, I understand boycotting something like Disney, but something like I have some emotional stake in, something like Pokemon, where they came out with a game and it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was the same game over again because they wanted to sell a bunch of copies. And if they stray from the norm, there is a risk involved. They didn't want to take that risk. So my friend didn't buy a Pokemon Sword and Shield and was boycotting it. And my response was, as I want to do that, maybe I'll buy a pre-owned copy so I'm instead taking off of someone else. But I want to play the game anyways. And I'm not going to be making a single dent. This is probably more philosophy at this point. I don't know. It's the Pokemon Company. They are the biggest franchise in the world. There is nothing.
I guess
that
it
is
depends
bigger.
if you like it that much or not, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people like me that won't put $1 in there because we're not gonna play it anyway.
Yeah.
And to be
exactly.
fair,
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how you get that Pokemon game. Talking about boycotting, like true boycotting, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you get the Pokemon game. You as a content creator, if you are seen, heard, or typed that you're playing that specific game,
Oh yeah.
you will still be
Yeah.
giving them dollars because your
Yeah.
followers will then go, well, if Pocket's playing it, I'm probably going to pick it up, right? There's
Yeah.
$50 to the company. Or Pocket's streaming this, so I might as well watch it. The tag even gives $1 to the Pokemon company
This is where I
Yep.
quit
every
streaming.
time it's used.
This is where I quit. This is where I draw the line. Yeah.
So, saying you're boycotting something and then actually actively boycotting something, like with Unjacked, I'm pretty sure whenever he says there's not a single Disney product, he also means there's not a single Marvel product, there's not a single Star Wars
Right.
product,
no
there's
Simpsons.
not a single
No Simpsons.
Fox. Yeah, there's not a single Fox Century 21 production
Nope.
product.
What?
None of that is probably in his house because he's actively going through and saying
Yeah.
how much of my dollar is being sent to the corporate Disney.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even
There's
if it's
no
something as
Hulu,
small as
there's
like
no nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's something as small as like a Pez toy that's on the shelf, if he flips it over and he sees any one of those properties listed on the back there as a trademark,
Out it goes.
he's not going to do it.
Wait, did you say you have no Hulu as well? Because
That's correct.
that is partially
No
owned.
Hulu, no ESPN,
matter of fact-
no
Matter of
ABC.
fact, I take this so serious. I cut my cable TV in 2008, and I've never gotten it back.
Oh, we cut the cable a long time ago. I'm with you there. We
Yep.
ted the cable
Also
a
cut the
long time
cable
ago.
a while back.
We're very
Yeah.
selective on what kind of
I don't even have
streaming
Netflix.
services we have. Okay,
This
that's
is
good.
So great.
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I love it.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna think I'm Amish by the time I'm done with this.
Yeah, which you know what? Disney will get there. Star Wars. Yeah, no
Just,
Star Wars for you.
Soon at some point, Disney's just going to get into the drywall business, and then it's all over for you. Unjacked.
You can say they're not.
It's cats.
Disney branded wood.
What? I can't own
all the drywall makers bought up by Disney for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
What? I can't own a cat? Like Disney bought the trademark to actually owning a cat?
You joke about this, but they have trademarked certain names for pets and animals
No.
for their properties. I am not joking about it. They will get paid every time you mention a specific name of a specific pet because of that.
And they're not the ones. Disney wasn't the ones who. Oh man, Animal Kingdom trademarks. This is a rabbit hole. They're not the ones who did Happy Birthday. That was a different company.
No, that was a different company, but they've historically done this since the 30s, starting with the Snow White movie.
Yeah. Wow.
They trademarked the Seven Dwarves names. So
Oh my God.
every time you mentioned one of their names in media, you had to go through the Disney label to do it.
Oh my God.
Since then, that's been over. There was a ruling and it's been overturned, but they've tried to actively do this forever.
Wow. Man.
Yep, absolutely. Trademark's no joke, man. I had Major League Baseball challenge one of mine
Oh wow.
just because it had the same colors as theirs, red, white, and blue. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, I was considering legally changing my name to Pocket, for the reasons of trademark, for the reasons of when I had when I got the usernames at places, I'd get a message from the company saying, "Hey, the company Pocket is now trying to take this." I'd be like, "Seriously, man?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that happened. They're like, "Would you like a free pair of socks? Oh, can I have my name? Can I have my name?"
But getting back to the meat and potatoes of the conversation,
Yeah.
I guess the new Switch is for people who don't already own a Switch,
Yes.
who have not previously owned a Switch.
And
Nintendo fans are still going to be Nintendo fans. It's a lot like the meme with the Lorax, where he says, "I'm going to eat this, but I'm not going to like it." You know, that's Nintendo fans
yeah,
right there.
that's us.
Like, yeah, I'll pay you $350, but I'm not going to like it.
Yeah. But I mean, it seems like we're specifically not. We're gonna wait and then get the new one, if we get a new one. So, oh, they have a list of the best Spider-Man games from best to worst, or worst to best, the other order. I'm looking at Kotaku. The next story we have is the Legend of Zelda. I'll start with the Legend of Zelda cart. Legend of Zelda sold for an absurd amount of money. $870,000, which apparently is a record for the video game auction places, which scares me because it means that games like I need more time to collect all my games before they spike in value to any degree. It's hard for me to get a copy of Samus Returns for the 3DS. I just want to get these games and play them before it gets me to the point where like I have to emulate them. But I hear Legend of Zelda, exactly. I have a couple Legend of Zelda fans who have like the usernames relating to Zelda, and I love that. I love that dedication. But yes, 870,000. Yes.
Crazy story about 6 or 7 years ago. I was with a friend, and I said, "Hey, do you still have that copy? Do you still have that all gold copy of Legend of Zelda Ocarina?" And they go, yeah, why? And I said, well, if it was boxed, it was going for $600.
Yeah,
the all gold cartridge complete with the box and everything.
Wait, which year are we talking about? The old one, like from NES, the gold cartridge?
NES version, yeah.
I actually have that
Ocarina.
one.
Yeah, that one goes for money. You have to include the packaging because the cartridge alone isn't going to fetch you a price. It has to be all the original packaging, including the booklet that came with it.
Yeah,
the art booklet
not worth any money, but it is fun to play.
Oh yeah, the art booklet for that is amazing. Like seeing the designs for like all the monsters and stuff, it does not do the game does not do the monster design any justice because you're like, well, that's what an Octorok looks like. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
This guy links thing in the chat there. Yeah, there's the gold cartridge on the NES.
Yeah.
I have a copy of
we were getting confused.
I've got a link there to the auction.
I wish I had it off the top of my head. I'd pull it out and show you guys.
No, I have it in the other room. I've got a copy of Zelda 1. But I got it from GameStop for like $10.
All gold complete with the cartridge and everything, or complete with the boxing. That's the important
I don't have
part.
the boxing and stuff, but I assume piecemeal I could make this happen. Like really, I assume I could. It didn't cost me that much. I was really surprised. Actually, what I do have over here, it's not perfect condition at all. But it's decent. I've got Mario Brothers 2. 1 second.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought this from Indie Game Shop a little bit ago. It's Mario 2, complete in box, everything.
I remember that game, dude.
Yeah. It's got like...
I think I liked Mario 3 more than I liked Mario 2, but...
They also had Mario 3, but it had like someone's name inscribed on it. So I didn't get that one.
Oh no.
So,
I would assume popularity does affect price. I mean, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay you for it. So
I assume
the old Sharpie on the cartridge.
Yeah, this has like a pen mark on it, as if someone wrote on top of it. Like they took something and they wrote on top of that. So it's got like
burn it to the ground.
Burn it to the ground. No, it's just got like a little indents on it. But you would never
look,
notice
they're
it.
Screaming, "Don't open it! Don't open it! What are you doing?"
Wait, open it? Like. No, this one wasn't bad.
What, like this?
Yeah, like.
Let's see.
Yeah,
this is
Mario Madness. Yeah, the subtitle that no one ever saw. Mario Madness. For some reason.
I forgot it was called Mario Madness.
Right?
Actually.
It's just not
I've never
there.
seen the subtitle.
Yeah.
I think in like Japan it was called Super Mario USA.
Real? Oh, that would make sense because Super
Yeah.
Mario Brothers 2 in Japan was a harder version of Super Mario
It was
Brothers
the
1.
Lost
The
Levels
Lost
here in the
It was the
US.
Lost
That was-
Levels. Yep.
Yeah, this is.
Mhm.
I mean,
I thoroughly enjoyed the Lost
see
Levels.
if you can
Yeah.
see the like bend there. I think
I've never had the opportunity.
yeah.
You've never had the opportunity to play the Lost Levels?
No.
Oh, it's hard.
Oh man.
I've never been in it. I mean, I don't know. It's
No, I played all the weird consoles growing up. I've been weird my entire life. Like the Sega 8-bit Master System, I had everything. You know, I had all the
Like,
TurboGrafx 16, the Dreamcast, I had all the weird ones.
yeah.
I was about to
That was-
say, if you weren't weird until you had a TurboGrafx.
Yeah, that's my favorite, dude. That is Military Madness is my favorite game ever made, especially for the TurboGrafx 16.
I have to Google that. I for my birthday, my friends got together and they got me a Dreamcast. No joke.
Oh man, and those games are so easy that you can mod.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to mod your Dreamcast, but you can get all the old games. You don't have to worry about them not being out there.
Stop around with them.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to play that thing, and now I have to like dig through my cables because I do have Dreamcast cables. It's like I got
That
it.
bonk
I'm
was
very
fun.
excited. I bought Sonic Adventure, so as if I could just like unbox it, like the first day it came out with Sonic Adventure. They had that weird, crazy 3D trailer, and put it in, and I'm like, where are my cables to plug this thing in actually? Because yeah, it's hard, but alas. What were we on? Oh yes, so it sold for $870,000, and then apparently people decided video games are expensive now. And specific, this goes into like sealed copy territory, right? So
Yep.
it was Mario. Was it Super Mario Brothers? What? Sorry, it was Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Super Mario 64
$1.5 million.
this
What
weekend.
is
listen,
wrong with
these-
people?
These people buying this stuff, they're not like you and me.
No, they're
The-
not.
These guys have so much money. They're like, what would be cool? What would get me the most Instagram clicks, right? And
Yeah.
Drake looks over and he's like, I don't know, just buy something that normal people want, you know? And then boom, you got a banana with tape on the wall, $100,000, right? Like these aren't reasonable people buying these things.
Yo, I just bought this latest Banksy piece. It's a banana with duct tape on it.
But it does drive
Right?
up the price.
Drake buys the
Thanks for the
first
rage.
easy bake oven. Next to know that the internet's a rage.
It does drive up the price, I believe, though.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's
Yeah.
that's the tough part. Which
Well,
it's good and it's not
Does
good.
it?
I think it might. I think even just
What would it raise the price of though?
the base video game. I mean, honestly, there's got to be a chart right now that we could look at that was like over the weekend.
Raise
wish
the
there was
price
one I
of,
could pull
up.
like sellers of mint copies of stuff like that. It's just gonna
Well, like,
drive
nobody's
that
going to
price
pay the
up.
same
Price
price
would
for the
only go up
500th
if
copy
people were
versus the
actively
first one.
buying the original copies. The price would only go up if people were actively buying the original copies. If you had more than one person buy within a certain amount of time frame, then the price automatically shoots up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The value shoots up.
But when you talk about a $900,000 thing being bought and sold from like 40 years ago, that's not going to drive today's. Well, I mean, I guess it could, right? If somebody thought like, oh my God, let's go buy all the Mario Brothers for
Well, it
40
would have
years
to be
from
that
now.
specific. Yeah, it would have to be that specific version. Though.
Yeah.
So like this is a very special version, like in a certain
Was it?
print run. And if you happen to have that, then
Hold
you,
on.
Yeah.
you would be able to charge that much.
And that's the thing. I don't know. It's collecting as a
I guess
whole.
it-
I think has become COVID's really just been driving it up. I wonder if these
Well,
things are actually
that's
going
the
to drive it
supply
up.
chains, dude.
Yeah.
That's the supply chains. No, there's hardly like look at airline tickets. They're so expensive because there's just no flights. There's no boats. There's nothing. All these warehouses are empty, and they're like, oh my God, we didn't see this coming. How do we build all this stuff? That's why you can't buy motherboards. There's so much out. COVID has really wrecked us.
But
Mhm.
but I mean, like Mario Kart 64, right? That
Yeah.
that didn't need to come overseas, and yet if I when I went to the local really cool game shop, they had like we had a giant stock of Mario Kart 64. Now we have none. Like the iconic games from our childhood that are around, or from people's childhoods that are around, will start. I don't know, because of COVID, because people didn't have something else to do. They're like, okay, I'm gonna bring out the N64. Let's buy some games for it. They can't be that expensive.
Oh yeah, dude.
And so that's
Every year, new.
Yep.
every year, more and more of these guys go to the landfill, so they are going to be harder to get.
Yeah, which is why Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Bowser's Minions, Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser's Journey, I predict will be expensive at some point soon. They sold like 20,000 of those.
Did it? So did it have a limited run? Like, was it a limited edition thing?
It wasn't. I don't think it was a limited run. Does that actually matter if it had limited sales?
It would, like, as far as like collector's value
Yeah.
and stuff like that, it would only matter if it had a limited production, and that
Okay.
like it had a hard cutoff on
But
the production.
What happens in this case where like it didn't sell well?
So it has to be a specific version. It has to be a special version, and it
Yeah.
has to have sold at or near max quantities within the limited print run.
Okay,
And then
okay.
that actually determines the value and the increase of value as the years go on. And of course, like Unjacked was saying, the demand has to be there, right? So
Yeah.
if Nintendo if they only produce 25,000 copies of a game and they only sell it in certain markets,
Yeah.
if 23,000 of them are purchased, then I guarantee you the last 2,000 will have a 300% markup over the rest of the 23,000 that were bought.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they're harder to find, because they were only sold in certain markets and they were only sold for a certain amount of time. So if you manage to get your hands on those, that instantly drives up the value because those are harder to get than everything else.
But so
That's how collectible is determined.
yeah. But something like this where it didn't sell well but didn't have a low print run, where do all those copies go?
They're probably just sitting in a surplus warehouse,
Okay.
and then Nintendo or whatever store has them will determine when to release them. The same thing happened for a lot of games that you still find on like the $5 or $10 racks.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, what was there? The Ghost Pokemon game. Whatever it is. Nobody? The it's instead of Pokemon, it's like ghost demon things.
Oh, you're talking about Yokai?
Yokai.
Yeah,
Or-
Yokai.
Yeah,
Yokai
Yokai.
was in the $5 bin for like a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not that it was limited print run. It was just it was made. It had normal standard production numbers. It just didn't sell very well. So what they did was they put it back in surplus,
Yeah.
and then surplus slowly kind of gets fed into the $1 bin or the $5 bin or however you put it. So
yeah. So who's buying the Mario 64? Because I can't buy it alone. I feel like I've got to split this.
I don't think people are buying it per se. I just think as it ages, they just get thrown away. They get misplaced. Like, it's just, it's like that old, like 1986 Mustang. Like, where is that? It's in the landfill. These things age, people hide them, accidentally throw them away.
Well,
they move, they forget things. I don't know. I just don't think that that's a game that it's not necessarily so popular. It's just, it's old. Like, they could reprint that though, if they wanted.
yeah. Some of the most expensive cars, going back to what Unjack said, because I'm kind of a car guy too.
Nice.
Some of the most expensive Lamborghinis that were from 68 and 67. There was only 3 of them that were special edition, and they weren't known about until somebody found them in a barn. And before that, they weren't worth anything. Somebody found them in a barn, and then lo and behold, you're paying over $2 million to $5 million for a special edition Lamborghini. Yep. And so suddenly everybody goes to the barn finds. Suddenly, you have these really rare limited edition vehicles that are, like he said, taking up space in a landfill, found at the bottom of a river. They get reconstructed, they get sold for an incredibly insane, price.
Yeah.
And hot take number 2 here.
Okay, here we go. Hot take.
Hot take number 2.
Hot take alert.
I don't like people like this that sell these video games for this absurd amount of price. This is just rich people showing off.
Yeah,
they're
just moving their money around. They're just moving their money around.
Moving the money around, and these auction places. I was reading about this. These auction places just hype up the price just to take advantage of rich people. It's like, ooh, let me throw my money around. I've got money burning a hole in my pocket. Let me throw it this way. It's like they're probably 1, never going to open it. 2, never play the game. 3. Never really touch it after that.
Well, that's the thing.
This is
There's a great documentary on the
an
Black
insult.
Lotus. There's a great documentary by, I think it's Ristic Studies. I forget. On YouTube.
Yeah.
And it goes into, you know, the Black Lotus and then the grading system and Black Lotus.
Oh
over
yeah,
the years.
Sam did that one. He did a very good job on that video too. Anybody that, regardless if you play Magic the Gathering or not, Sam does a lot of research on his projects. He spends months. He talks to the original artists. He goes into the backstory of it.
It's really
I
great.
really recommend that you look at that specific video
Yeah.
from the Ristic Studies on
Yeah.
YouTube.
And-
Go hit him up.
And by the end of it, he notes that the person who has probably the most expensive version of the Black Lotus put it in his cube, which is a style of gameplay. Like he actually uses it. You know, he puts it in a sleeve and he just plays with it. He didn't have it he doesn't have it in any special kind of containment. He just plays with that really expensive Black Lotus. It's a really expensive Black Lotus. If anyone doesn't know, Black Lotus is the most expensive card in Magic the Gathering. Land is power. It gives you a bunch of land. Really cool. Check it out. Yeah. We've all played Magic the Gathering, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joho, go on.
Like Uncaged said, I'm not gonna actively look for old unique cartridges. If I happen to, a perfect example is, like I was telling you guys earlier, I played Pokemon TCG. I have original base set Hollow Venusaur.
Yeah.
Before Jake Paul went crazy and started opening these first edition base sets and all this stuff, that Venusaur was sitting in my closet. It's about $30.
Yeah.
2 months later, I see that it's going upwards of $400 to $500. Is it in good condition? No. I could probably get it now I could probably sell it now for $100 because it's been played with, because I was playing with it whenever I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm not actively going out and looking for base set boxes that are worth anywhere from $300,000 to $100,000.
That part is kind of like a crime against humanity. Like the people who are cracking open those boxes, it's weird. It's like they're hunting treasure chests. It is some weird. It just feels weird, you know. But I my brother, bless him, I found the Charizard, and I was like, I don't remember having a Charizard, and he's like, I remember having a Charizard. Yeah, you could have it. I have a base set Charizard from the original Pokemon, and owning it in this state, you know, where everything is in the way that society is, kind of feels crazy. You know, having something that everyone seeks after, having essentially a Black Lotus. It's not first edition, it's not all these different things, not shadowless, but it's still as interesting when you have one of those in your hand. Like I actually have the reprint of the Charizard here, and you know, thanks to Jake Paul, which is not a phrase I want to say ever.
You
sorry,
sure?
Logan Paul. Yeah, I just never want to mention them ever. I could go without it.
I'm sorry, it was Logan Paul. It was the
Logan Paul.
lesser of the two evils.
I mean, like, if they're
It
on a
was the
scale.
Mayweather brother.
Yes, the Mayweather brother. I have a reprint of the Charizard, and it's worth a stupid amount. I got it on stream, if you guys remember. I opened it on stream. I opened 2 packs on stream, and it was in my second pack of this reprint.
So you know what's crazy to me is that set XY Evolutions came out. I want to say 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Before then, a hollow version of Charizard. Yeah, it was on the more expensive side for the cards in the set. It wasn't even played at all, right? You would get a graded copy.
It's a horrible
and the graded
card.
copy would go you would get a graded copy. It would go for about 120 on the market, right? Yeah. Logan Paul goes up, opens some of those cards. Long story short, if you were to grade that hollow Charizard from XY Evolutions, you would have a $400 card sitting on you.
Oh, absolutely. I could sell it on eBay probably for more than that, ungraded. Like, you guys can grade it. I'll show you photos. It's pristine. Like, it's the craziest thing. and I have packs of XY evolutions, I could just sell those. And it's like 3 years old, and it fetches like $20 a pack or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably more as time goes on. Like, I don't even understand. But yes, I think I'll pick up the Charizard in a second to show the audience. But while I do that, I guess let's go with some geeky news. This is not video games, but the new edition of Magic the Gathering just came out, and so I feel like since there's a bunch of people here who have played a bit of it, I would talk about it.
Well, I want to know. Hang on.
Yes.
Before we do that, I want to know which of the other guests has played D&D.
Yes. Which of you guys have played D&D?
And
I literally just had a session today.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Unjacked.
Sounds like a
I
therapist
played
session.
when I was like 10. Like
Okay.
a few times.
So, as you know, Wizards of the Coast owned and owns, even under Hasbro, both properties, D&D and MTG. And there's been a few times whenever they've chosen a crossover, but the newest set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, is basically Magic's take on the D&D plane, or the planes and the adventures in that, but just Magic the Gathering form. For me, I've been playing D&D since '99, and like Kirblet here, like Kirblet, we've been streaming every Tuesday nights. We'll stream a D&D 5th edition campaign that I'm running, and it tickles me. Like it hits me in the member berries, to borrow from South Park again. It hits me in the member berries, right? Because you get to see Minx and Boo in card form. You get to see Tiamat in card form. You get to see Bahamut in card form, but like you get to see these kind of pieces of nostalgia and also, the feels in card form, and you get to like shorthand it, or you get to like relive the best of both properties, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty. And yeah, I mean, I guess just what were your thoughts on it? I played a little bit of D&D, and I don't know enough about it, but seeing an iconic crossover with an entire set of Magic the Gathering, they've done things with Walking Dead and Godzilla cards, which I think is really cool. But seeing an entire set where it's a crossover with Dungeons and Dragons, like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I would love to see what they did with a different franchise, but they don't. If they did a Pokemon set, that would be the end of the world.
No, they don't plan on, but they do. This is the first of many that they're going to be doing.
Oh,
they have
really?
announced that they're going to be doing a crossover with, because it's Hasbro. This is coming from the Hasbro corporate side, which a lot of hardcore Magic fans are like, "Come on, just let Magic be Magic, right?"
Right.
For the sake of the argument, I'm going to trudge back with the whole trademark monopolies. Hasbro has quite an extensive library of trademark monopolies, just much like Disney under their umbrella. So Magic has now procured the rights to do crossovers with Warhammer 40K universe,
Oh boy.
from White Dwarf. I think that's who owns it. And they also have the rights to do a crossover with Lord of the Rings. So those are in the
Wow.
works. Those are being designed right now because they design sets 2 to 3 years before they release.
Wow.
So right now they are currently designing the Lord of the Rings and the Warhammer 40K stuff. If not, they're already pushing the files through to be printed.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. It's crazy.
So look forward to more of this stuff. And that's, again, that kind of goes in the same direction as what Unjacked was speaking on earlier. It's just like, how much of my money do I want to give them? Because I don't do Warhammer. I love the lore and I love the universe, but I don't spend my money on that.
Yeah,
I don't
if you don't collect it, man, it's not going to be worth anything in 40 years. So think about that.
That's. So the other problem is
I'm just
that
teasing, man. I'm teasing.
Yeah. No. I understand that side of the argument though too. Is like you have to be able to make your stand somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And the more you do, the more people do their parts, the more of an effect it has. Okay. Case in point, Sonic the Hedgehog movie, right? Nothing was going to be done about that awful CG unless the thousands of fans spoke up about it.
Yeah, but I
And
do have
just
to give it to them.
instantly bullied.
I do have to give it to Sonic. You know, you found a way to.
So this is
Wait,
why
is there really a Sonic movie?
Yeah.
There really is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Yes.
Who do you think
I
it stars?
banned the
it's
guy
actually-
Wait,
the other day in
take
my chat for it.
take a guess.
Okay, Jim
who's-
Carrey.
yeah.
Jim Carrey is Mr. Robotnik.
I was
by
gonna
the
say,
way.
take a guess who's Dr.
Eggman.
Robotnik. Yeah.
Oh God, it's real.
Oh yeah.
It's real.
Oh, have
yeah.
you never seen the first trailer?
No, I get a guy every day, and his name is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie or something like that. And literally, all he does is chat to me like a few sentences out of the movie and tells me about it. I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna read it anymore. I don't know anything about the movie. And yeah, he just
Chili
comes in and trolls
dogs.
me, and I love it. I actually love it. I'll be honest.
That's
Okay, well
great.
now you have a reference point to go off.
Yeah,
of.
now I gotta actually go
No,
on.
you have to
All right,
you have to
all right.
look at
So-
Nightmare Sonic and then Google Tails, because Tails is better than Sonic. You have to Google
Great,
what
another rabbit hole. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Another, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So getting back to it, I don't want White Dwarf. I haven't really supported them, and I try not to. I actively try not to because they have very predatory tactics.
Oh, okay.
And they're just like they're a really bad gaming company, in my opinion, from what I've heard and seen from
Sure.
other friends, especially with how they treat their own properties. You can't in tournament in tournament legal settings. You can't bring anything that isn't a White Dwarf produced miniature, but they don't produce enough of the miniatures and enough of the accessories to help you out with the said armies to make them tournament legal. So they kind of put you in this really tight squeeze where they have a limited supply of things that you absolutely have to have, but yet you can't get them anywhere. So you go to resin print them, and that's good and fine. But when you go to an official table, an official tournament table, you have to leave those resins behind because it's not a White Dwarf produced or stamped
Yeah.
item.
I would be very against that. How's what?
Yeah.
What is it? Are you allowed to use proxies in Magic tournaments?
No, that's the other thing too. But with Magic, it's a little bit more depending on the format.
Yeah.
With Magic, they actually do reprints of cards, and
of a
they'll
lot of cards, but
put
not
those
everything.
cards back out. Yeah,
I'm
but not
against-
everything. Correct.
Like honestly, I don't. If it's a game that should be based on skill, not on the size of your wallet. So I'm very against that.
I mean, that's the problem with competitive play in any genre, any type of sport, any type of anything is the more money you have, the better your chances are.
Not
of winning.
necessarily. Smash
okay.
Brothers, I didn't have like what is there to buy there? There's DLC.
Do you have enough money to go daily to the tournaments
That's different.
that they have?
That's different.
Okay. Do you have enough money and time to dedicate to training in that specific character with those specific matchups? Do you have enough money to pay the coaches that you
So,
need?
If
Do you have
you're
enough
getting-
money to support yourself during that training?
It's
The
pay
more
to
money
win.
you have,
That's
yeah.
That's different. That's kind of outside of. That's kind of outside of the game there. If the game.
I mean, I
itself
agree
is,
with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you that it's very grassroots in the fact that if you just train your one character from the main collection, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have the money first to buy the Switch to practice with it.
Yes.
You have to have the money to buy the DLC characters that you want to play with to
Yeah.
know the matchups. You have to have the money to go on the internet to frequently practice the matchups if you don't have anybody local.
You can do it
So
all
in a
online.
way, it is pay to win.
It's not that pay to win and we're talking comparison. Even if you say those things are pay to win, a comparison of not that much versus. I already have an
Well,
investment
yeah,
in
like-
Magic the Gathering, but the new meta is out, so I have to now pay
Oh, yeah.
$6,000
That's
for a
correct.
deck of cards. Now, like that's,
Yeah.
that's just not.
So Magic has 4 official competitive formats. They are vintage, legacy, modern, and standard. Right?
Yeah.
Those are their officially supported ones, and there are a couple of other fringe supported ones that they do as like side events, right? And that's not including the limited format. Okay, limited format is the closest you can get to being like true skill based, but it still has the aspect of random chance, right? Because if your draft pool sucks, you can't change anything about that. You can't go back and get new cards if you're sealed or draft pool. But going
that's
back to the
draft.
conversation,
Yeah.
vintage decks, the cheapest vintage decks cost $30,000. Why is that? Because the decks are composed of 90% of reserve list cards that you can't find anywhere else, and then they're never going to reprint those.
Yeah.
So that is a problem, right? It has that sort of ceiling that's
There's an
gatekeeping
understanding-
other
yeah.
players.
Yeah, but any gatekeeping I'm against, but understanding that there's, if they're maintaining vintage as a standard, vintage could be an outlier I could see in my head of like, look, if you're playing with old cards, there's an understanding that these things are 20 years old. Like, if you want to play in them, that is a format maybe, but like, if you're playing with new cards that came out, this week, and someone else spent the, $6,000 to get the full deck of whatever they wanted, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't have any mocks in my collection, but they spent the money on it. They shouldn't have the competitive advantage. But anywho, that's
Yeah,
just
no,
what
a lot
society
of people are of that mind. But proxies, to me, proxies in tournament legal settings or REL environments, I really think it's a matter of perspective on that one, because there is still skill intensive aspects of the game, because like you can have this $30,000 vintage deck, but if you don't know how to use it, you're not getting any further than 5 games.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. You're not going to like day 2 or the top 5 or the top 4 of any tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it should be just based on skill, so the proxies would even that out. Yeah. Anywho, this is quite a
the geek stuff. You mentioned earlier about the geek stuff.
Yes.
Where we were going with that.
I was just seeing what people's thoughts were on Magic
on D&D
putting out a
and
D&D
MTG.
set. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I thought that it was interesting. I mean, as you said, it does show us that they're going to be bringing things down the line, which could be more questionable as we go. But it's really cool to see Magic Missile finally, after all this time of being made fun of for having Magic Missile and Magic the Gathering, it's finally there.
I want to cast Magic Missile.
Yeah.
But you have no targets. I'm going to cast it at the darkness.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Where are the Cheetos?
They're in the fridge. Wait, that's Mountain Dew. Have a Mountain Dew. That's in the fridge. Just go get it.
Oh yeah.
Man, I love that skit. That skit.
So good.
Much older days.
Yeah, man. That was like, I mean, you do realize one of those people is Dan Harmon, right?
Yes. I did know that.
Good dude.
Dan Harmon, it's so funny because you find out much later on that Dan Harmon was like instrumental in a lot of your childhood memories.
Which ones are you referring to?
He was one of the key writers. He was one of the key writers for the first 5 seasons of The Simpsons, along with Conan O'Brien.
Wait, what?
Just to let you know that.
Harmon?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
I knew
he was one of the key writers,
What?
along with Conan O'Brien, and then there was another writer that made it to the big leagues.
Yeah. No, I did.
They were all part of the same group.
I did not realize that.
Oh my god, that would explain so much.
Yeah. Harmon has been in a lot of the stuff that the like quippy social commentary comedies. He has been behind all of that.
Yeah, you guys may not.
No, I meant Conan O'Brien. I never actually liked The Simpsons when I was a kid.
Okay.
And that would explain why.
he was one of the key writers. He worked on The Simpsons for 7.5 years, I believe, before he went on to doing late night.
Dude, that makes total sense. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the one behind the Sarah Silverman program.
I do love Dan Harmon though.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't necessarily. I'm trying to see The Simpsons here.
I gotta. So I've got 3 lovely girls that are waiting for me to. Yeah, they're waiting for me to tell them goodnight because it's bedtime. So
Go and take care of those little ones.
I don't think he did in 2007. Only thing for Dan Harmon I see is in 2017, The Simpsons giving a voice of himself. That's. Oh wait, 1 second. Yeah, influences. Harmon listed influences including The Simpsons. Though I do not think he actually wrote for that.
I don't really know much about Dan Harmon. I mean, I just found out about him through
great.
Rick and Morty.
I love Dan Harmon. Okay, if you guys don't know Dan Harmon, he made, I know this is more TV talk, but he made Community, he made Rick and Morty, he did Channel 101, he did Heat Vision and Jack I think. Pretty sure he did Heat Vision and Jack. No, Heat Vision and Jack is oh my god, that's his first TV thing. So Heat Vision and Jack is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, and it's on YouTube. And I think it's Ben Stiller. It's in 1999. This is a time capsule. It's in 1999, and it's Ben Stiller, I think, and his best buddy gets turned into a motorcycle. His best friend being Jack Black.
So 1999.
It is absurd. Yeah, it's Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and Owen Wilson. There is only a pilot. You have to see this insanity if you yeah. He's a former astronaut. Oh, Owen Wilson is the talking motorcycle. There you go. So it's absolutely absurd, and it's absolutely Jack Black. But no, Darren Harmon has fantastic comedy. If you guys don't know him,
Yes.
And if you guys, for just literary reasons, take a look at his story circle. He has a way of he adapted the hero's journey. Wow. Yeah, you're right, Dirkwing. Owen Wilson. Wow. He's a way of adapting the hero's journey into a circle form that makes it great for serialized television by adding cost at the end. And that you see that with Rick and Morty, that there's always cost in the episode. It adds a little bit of weight. That's what I take out of it, but it's also just great format. Yeah, one of them things. So there was a lot going on this week. We had a 20-year-old Half-Life Easter egg bug that was found. There's stuff in like the esports news. I don't know. Like what have you guys been doing this week? What's been intriguing you guys this week?
You want to go, or I got one? I mean,
Yeah, Unjacked.
Go ahead, Unjacked.
You in the front.
ahead.
Going back to Nintendo in a way, and
Yeah,
it's going back
please.
to Zelda.
Yeah. I've heard the game.
There was there was a little news thing about somebody getting arrested in Japan
Yes.
for selling
Mods.
saved data files from Breath of the Wild.
Yes,
And-
I heard about this.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys read that, but to me, I started reading the comments on Reddit and stuff like that.
Right
And I
here.
was blown away. We don't have anything like that here. But in 2019, Japan actually did pass a lot of laws on that kind of stuff to basically halt that freedom of data. It's, to me, mind blowing. Has it in the audience or here on the panel? What do you guys think about that? Have you even seen it? It was just like maybe 2 days ago.
I saw a headline for this, and I haven't really read into it. I kind of skimmed over like the headline. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I
he's already
really would need to read that article to get more context.
And that's fair.
About what's
That's
going on
fair.
with
Just
it.
I
Yeah.
wanted to bring awareness to it.
So it's this law, the Unfair Competition Prevention Law. It's possibly violating that. I posted the link in the chat, and
Yep.
like this is, this goes back to, I don't even know. We had both this week, where someone's being persecuted for selling save files, and we also had Steve Wozniak, co-creator of Apple, the other Steve in Apple.
Right to repair.
There are actually 3 Steves, I think, in the Apple. Yeah, he came out with a video against, for the right to repair, against these things, against things not being able to be repaired by yourself.
Yep.
I mean, we all, us nerds remember back when it was Apple that was like, no, we're just gonna solder the boards together. So unless you want to just desolder everything, you can't modify your Mac. It's just not happening. And like part of that,
Luckily,
I
that
can't
is my
understand.
background, so I do it all the time.
Oh, real? Yes, that's right. I think we've been on this. I need to get back into soldering. I have like a bunch of kits, but I don't have a proper soldering gun or anything.
I have a proper soldering station.
Yeah, I do too. This is what I did for the last 2 decades.
Man.
But like my brother brought over his mini Nintendo, the little minis with all the games loaded, and he broke his USB port on the back. He said, "Can you fix this? I don't want to buy another one." I ripped that thing right open. I soldered back on the SMB, the micro USB port, and he's already back to business.
Yeah.
So I think it is
There
important.
you go.
So I know who I'm calling
Yeah.
when I need to get my Game Boy modded with a backlit screen.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
You're that guy above me.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
How's it
Oh
going?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything, Joho, except for a raid by Trident. Thank you so much, Trident. And we're discussing the right to repair. That's what happened this week with Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
We went from one side, The Legend of Zelda, if you guys don't know. The Legend of Zelda had two stories this week. One was a cart selling for an absurd amount of money, and the second was a person in Japan. I don't want to misspeak on it, but they got charged for selling save files, if I'm correct. And so that's like one side of the coin.
I'm trying to find this story. It's like buried under all the other.
It's in chat. I posted in chat.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wow, I was trying to find it on my own end.
Yes. So
this is interesting. I want to hear y'all's perspective on this because in the speedrun community, they actively trade saved files. They may not be modded, but they are saved. And if they are modded, it is illegal. And it's also because you can't tamper with a speedrun. It will be forfeited if that's the case. I want to hear what y'all's perspective is on this because that happens a lot.
Do they duplicate it? And is it like we start at X and then we try to get the quickest time, so we bought someone's quickest time up to that point?
What they'll do is they'll say, okay, well this is the speed run, or this is the save file that I have for points A to B to C.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, well they'll duplicate it and they'll hand it to another speedrunner and they'll say beat that. Right? So they'll look at their save, they'll look at their saves and they'll compare them to what they're currently doing, and that's how you get the sort of standards of the speedrun community.
I think it's great in a way. I mean, look, I understand that. I think everything should be. I'm one of the types who's like everything should be opened up. This is not. It's a save file, and the point is to like try to compete with that person's. It's kind of communal in a way. I
very communal.
Couldn't agree more. What is going on? Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
That's that's a nightly occurrence.
My issue is that we're wasting resources from our communities for this.
How
like,
so?
Like at the end of the day, when we put people in jail, we pay for that. When we try to reintroduce them to society, we pay for that. Like we as a society need to control what we're jailing people for and what we're using our legal resources for. Now, this is Japan. Luckily, we don't have anything like this here in the US. I can't speak to the EU or anywhere else, but like, I hope this doesn't spread outside of Japan because I think it's senseless. I think at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to the bulk majority of human civilization. I just think it's a nice thing that we do that's pretty entertaining between, certain groups of people. But like beyond that, the fact that this is a law is insane to me.
Yeah, it's to protect consumers. That's what the letter of the law is, to protect the consumers. The spirit of the law is drastically different. I've actually had experience with this because in the early 90s, they were actively doing that. They were hunting down people. They had like formed these police units that were separate from sort of like a cybercrime unit. Like we joke about this stuff in movies and other media, but this is an actual thing that happens in Japan, because one of the things that they sought to do in the 90s during this whole IP craze was they sought to protect the consumers first. And so that meant that if you were doing anything outside of that, you were breaking the law. If you had unfair practices against the consumer. So it's hard being a business owner. It's even harder being somebody who deals in intellectual properties in Japan, because they have very strict laws, ridiculously strict laws.
I mean, and here's the thing: this guy was basically, I've been reading this article. He was selling hacks. He was selling hacked save files. That's all he was. That's what he was doing.
Yeah. It's but he was selling it. That's another thing.
Yeah, he's selling it.
Once he's selling it, it becomes a little bit different. I mean, if you did a save and then you put that out there for anyone, I don't know. Where does DRM start
So-
and end? You know?
Well, no. See, this is the problem though, because these corporations are the ones drafting this legislation.
Mhm.
It's not us, right? So to us, we're like, oh, well, that makes sense. No, they already had a backroom meeting about how they're going to use that law. They're going to bring it in one way, like Joho was saying. Like everything here is dubious. It looks good on the surface, and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you protect me? But that's never what the intended use was.
Yep. Again, just like Unjacked was saying, like the letter of the law is to protect the consumer. That's their bottom line. That has always been their goal, right? But then these corporations that have actively been paying the government on the side, not even conspiracy, it is knowledge. It is open knowledge that they do this in most of Japan, especially during the early 90s, whenever this stuff was just coming up. As far as like intellectual properties, that's why again in Japan it's harder to deal with intellectual properties than it is here. Like you think it's painful dealing with copyright infringement on your channels on the daily basis. People get jailed and they stay in jail for 30 years because of that
God.
stuff in Japan.
Yeah, it's so different, especially in Asia. Yeah, man, I hope as gamers that we shun these practices. I hope that people don't like. I'm just hoping we don't put a positive spin on here. Be like, thank God we got them. Nintendo's so much better because of it. Like, no, none of us are better from this. I hope from the community, like we shun this.
I am against it. I am against it 100% because there was the more recent relatable thing that happened here in the States is the Smash community. Going back to Super Smash Brothers. So there was a company that created rollback net codes.
Yes, Slippy.
To make
GGPO.
online, to make online play smoother for Melee, specifically Melee.
Yeah.
Okay, which Melee is a great game. It's been lauded one of the best fighting games in its generation, right? So we're protecting the name of Smash Brothers Melee. We're protecting that legacy. If anything, people are going out and buying original copies because that's what you have to have. They're not buying the ROMs. They're not buying the emulated versions. The Slippy only works with the CD.
Really?
No, it only works with the CD. The rollback netcode is specifically for the console version. It's not for the emulated version.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Because in tournament,
Sony is really bad at this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, and so Nintendo came around.
Here's the thing: any Japanese,
yeah, you should just say a Japanese company.
Part of it is to do with the huge bureaucratic, like wall of red tape that happens in Japanese companies. That's part of it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know.
To get anything approved takes like 1 million managers or something to approve.
I didn't know Slippy was that type of thing. I didn't know Slippy was something where it was.
Well, that's what they use it in. That's what they use it in tournament purposes.
Like Melee tournaments,
Yes, you have to have it. And so part of the deal with COVID.
And then
you would use it connected to the back of your GameCube because it had the little port for it.
Yeah,
had the broadband adapter. Yeah,
you'd have to buy the original broadband adapter thing.
Yeah, you would need it.
Wow.
Yeah, a high profile like online tournament basically got shut down by Nintendo because they realized that is what was happening. They were they didn't like the fact that it was using some code to play it online.
That they weren't getting paid for.
They weren't getting paid for
issue.
it. Yeah.
They weren't getting paid for it. None of the sales were going towards Nintendo as far as the code. However, the sales for the consoles, even though it's later on in the lifetime of GameCube as well as Melee, it still
They're not
does
even
$1.
manufacturing it, Nintendo.
Yeah,
I
a portion of the dollars still goes back to the Nintendo company.
Yeah, I still think it's I mean I think it's dumb for a variety of reasons, but mostly because like this is such a non-factor. Like they're a company that people thrive on the nostalgia factor. And if you want to have that persist, why not support the stuff that, support in the sense of like, you can now monetize this entire vector. You can do stuff with this.
You could say, hey, brand new Melee HD for the Switch. Well, $60.
You can do that.
Boom.
Which is
you sell 500,000 units in a day.
I bet they're going to do that as the next Smash Brothers. There's no other way of doing another Smash Brothers. But anywho, that's another topic. Like this is another venue. Like, tell them, hey, you can use our use this netcode that we didn't build, but we would like to do something with it. I don't know. We would like to host it. Let us host it. Let us monetize this. I don't know. There are different things that I would assume that Nintendo could do to take advantage of the fact that
Nintendo literally sued the original NES modders, took their program and built the Nintendo Mini with it and sold it as is. Literally didn't do anything else to it. They just sold what was already being given away after suing them. Like,
they
this
put their brand
I hate
on
this
the
make
hardware.
this a Nintendo bash. I'm just saying, like, this is a company that really is doing some kind of questionable things on the side.
I didn't know they did that. So
it's relevant. Like, it's relevant. You don't need to stay at the consumer level all your life, right? You need to know more about the practices and why things are the way they are, because there was zero intention of the NES Mini getting made until people were selling the hardware without Nintendo's permission.
I didn't know that was a thing that they sued and then literally were like, "Yep, we're gonna do this." Yeah, I didn't know that.
We're only gonna tell Pocket different things, and his mood's gonna change.
Yeah, I'm like,
they just literally had to.
Still think it's cool to be a Nintendo fanboy? Huh?
I know, right? It's like watching. It's like progressively as you watch Bo Burnham's new special Inside. Bo Burnham's new special where he's just like, it's like a kid's song, and then it's about how society is doomed.
Yeah,
you're like,
how the world works.
Yeah, that's how the world works.
SpongeBob is for kids too.
Yeah, pedagogically fascist. Yeah, it's not a good time. Yeah,
but I may have my moral quandaries with Nintendo, but I'm still buying their product.
I will still play Mario Brothers, but I think that people should be aware of like a lot of these factors so we can vote with our wallets.
Yeah,
and we can appreciate them for what they really are.
I just didn't know. Yeah, I just didn't know they sued someone for building this stuff and then used it. Now, I understand, there is some sort of right where it's like, yeah, if you are selling the consoles, I don't know the story. If they were selling the consoles, if they just made an emulator,
the consoles didn't exist. They just sued the emulator maker.
Yeah,
I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it pulled up.
I don't even think they could, because
it's their IP, dude, because they license all the games that are on that thing.
But the games are not the emulator. So
the
emulators would be protected.
Emulators are protected
unless it has some sort of source code to the NES ripped into it, which is why when you download an emulator from like an eShop, it says to bring in your own ROMs, and it says, I think sometimes it's like to bring in your own like source code of something.
It's not the software so much as it's the hardware that's being used. If it's patented in any form, and they mirror that. So like I said, it was the hardware that was being used on a lot of these emulators.
Oh wow, yeah.
And Nintendo goes after modders and stuff and hackers like aggressively, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah.
Like they just got awarded 2.1 million for pirated games,
But they couldn't collect. That was another article from like last week. They couldn't get $50 of it.
Heard about this.
Oh, well, yeah, that's because of bankruptcy. Good luck getting any of those.
Good luck getting money, Nintendo.
Actually, I learned. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take it for a tangent, but I actually did learn this last week. I was up late watching YouTube, and I was watching the documentary of like Napster and like how like some of those people took it all the way to court and they got like millions of dollars judgment, and the guy's like, they do this because they're just going to claim bankruptcy. They don't actually have to pay for this stuff. They can go all the way to the Supreme Court if they want. Claim bankruptcy. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Why wouldn't you do that?
Oh, because they're a corporation, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, the people could just be like, I don't know, we'll just appeal it. I'm not going to pay it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, and they can't. They can only sue the corporation probably, and the corporation can go under, and the people are protected. No?
No, but what I mean is like the corporation gets a judgment against somebody. Yeah. Like the RIA gets a judgment against like Jamie, I forgot what her name is, Jamie Thompson or something like that, for like $2 million. They're never collecting on that because of bankruptcy laws.
Yeah.
I was unaware of how like prolific this was until like a week or two ago.
Yeah, and there's also different things on exactly the different types of bankruptcy and how that affects people. Because sometimes you can be fine and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because of that, there's a limitation on how much they can. So that if they charge a group of persons, they can only charge that group of persons up to a certain dollar amount, and it can never exceed that. So they may start the settlement or they may start the lawsuit with 2 million for impunitive damages or whatever,
Mhm.
or punitive damages, but it'll wind up being to where each party pays $2,000 to $5,000 because
Yeah.
of bankruptcy.
Or not $50 a week.
$50 a week.
Not $50 a week. They didn't. They
Can't
couldn't
even,
even get
can't
50.
even collect on that.
Can't even collect on 50. So there's a couple more. Oh, I think I even forgot the last news story. Oh, I was going to say that. Well, there's a story about Stardew Valley fixing the fact that you can't see any fish underneath the water when you fish. Apparently, someone made it so you can see
A
what's
modder.
underneath. Modder made it so you can see what's underneath the water. We're gonna go ahead and sue them for millions of dollars. And so you can see what's underneath the water and then fish. But there's a better thing that I would love to talk about, and that's Joy-Con drift. And we're going back here because we did talk.
And I
about
didn't realize.
Switch.
So, are we just gonna name the episode "Nintendo Bashing"? Or
I know, right?
I mean,
we all have our issues with Nintendo, and it's very known. It's on the surface.
I feel
right?
like we'll call
But,
it Super Nintendo bashing.
Okay.
64. With
Again,
Nintendo Punch-Out.
I do take my stances, but I am still actively purchasing their product.
Absolutely,
So
same
I
here.
really my words carry zero weight whenever it comes to if you were to put it under a microscope. It's like, yeah, bro, you're saying all this stuff, and it's like I'm saying it from a point of it needs improvement.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not saying it from a
we can
point
do
of
better.
I'm never
We
going to touch
can
this
do
stuff.
better.
No, it's
Yeah, we definitely can and should do better.
but
Yeah.
it's also they can do better. It's a come
Yeah.
on, Nintendo.
I mean,
I'm playing.
whenever
Yeah.
it's that's the kind of forgive me because capitalist I was raised in a capitalism family, so
Yes.
if it makes you money
My father was
and
a
the
capitalist.
consumer's gonna buy it,
His father before him.
they yeah like their thought, Nintendo's thought, no matter what you say or do or how you spend your money. Well, again, like Unjacked was saying, it's literally how you spend your money determines how they make their products. Because
absolutely, but
if something doesn't sell well, they'll abandon it immediately.
yeah.
So
I'm just
again,
saying, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it feels a little bit shameful when I'm like, hey guys, I'm streaming Breath of the Wild, and I think I did it with Unjacked. I was like, hey, I'm playing Among Us. Oh, what's that? What's my creature going across the screen? Yeah, that's Joy-Con drift. You can't do that otherwise.
no,
Yeah.
my left Joy-Con legit has the drift, and I have to actively switch out my wife's
Same with mine.
newer Joy-Cons in order for my kids to play Mario Kart decently. That's painful. That is
That
a very
sounds
painful
terrible.
But like for
bro.
For a company like Nintendo that has a bunch of honor, that takes a lot of pride in their product, it's fascinating to me that this type of thing, and I know
That's what their publicist says. Don't confuse the two. Do not confuse the two. That's what the publicist says. They have honor. They have pride in their product.
Fair enough. What was I thinking that they?
That's why I
actually did?
use that. That's why I use this.
Oh
my
yeah,
8-bit
how is that?
controller.
Is this a plug for
It's
the 8-bit
amazing. It's
8-bit
amazing.
I hope you're listening. Yeah.
8-bit do, yeah. When
Is
a
it actually?
product is made well,
Yeah.
it will sell well.
Well, the Pro controller is really, really nice.
Yeah.
So I will admit the Wii U Pro controllers have lasted us a long time in this household. I have a wireless one that needs the battery pack changed out. So, but our GameCube controllers have lasted the longest, and in fact, most melee players in the competitive scene will go out and they'll actively look for the original version of the GameCube controller.
I still have my SNES controllers.
Sorry, I read
Cat is snoring really loud.
Yeah, I read on Jack's comment that he said.
Is that a tabby?
Really
is that a mixed tabby?
I don't know what he is.
Yeah,
We rescued him, but I thought somebody was whistling back there. I was like, what is going on?
No, I asked because we actually have the same cat. The same
really?
Kind of cat.
Yeah, this guy's pretty awesome.
And he was a
Sorry.
rescue as well.
Didn't mean to derail again.
No,
Jesus.
you're good.
It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, it's penny on the railroad tracks. It's gonna
Penny
happen.
Yes, there are a lot of pennies today on the railroad tracks.
I know. It's like,
But
Yeah.
okay,
who's
Joy-Con
putting
drift.
the role?
Yes.
Joy-Con drift. They did the same thing with Nintendo 64 controllers, if you'll remember, right? The problem with this Nintendo 64 controllers was that the center stick would grind out, and so you would get that dust on the inside.
Yeah.
Did they come out with the Series 2 or 3? No, they did not. They never did. Okay.
We have a second,
So you're looking at Joy-Cons.
We have a second revision of a Switch, and yet we don't have a second revision of the Joy-Cons.
Of the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm switching out between my wife's Joy-Con and the broken one is because I am not going to go to Walmart or whatever electronics retail store and pay them $65 to $75 for that single Joy-Con. Because that's the price.
The single price they brought down like $10 or something stupid. I think it's like $60.
I'm still not going to do it.
70. Yeah. I mean, same here. I have a broken R button, and so I just
Jesus.
I've had a broken R button for a year, and I haven't.
They have people.
I have a Pro Controller.
They have people in my area that can switch. They can get in and they can eliminate Joy-Con drift. So it's like I'm gonna pay them money. I would much rather pay them money because I know that I'm not getting $60 to $70 worth of failed product again.
Well, I've sent my Joy-Cons to Nintendo at one point. I have done that, and I could do it again. And they were wanting to like charge me for the shipping, and I was like, no, not even. Sorry, I've seen what you guys are doing. No, stop this. And yeah, so I got a fresh pair of Joy-Con. I got my Joy-Cons fixed. All I wanted was a working pair of Joy-Cons. And then of course Joy-Con drift came back, and so I'm like, I don't know. Like, I still might call them because it's going to be cheaper, but for them to fix it, I guarantee. Yeah, I might do that. God, I can't. I think the point of all this is we can believe that they would do this, but really, the only update you needed to do was the Joy-Cons. That was you had one job. You had one job. Fix the broken thing. No. We're gonna make your screen brighter. No, stop it. Go to your room. Yeah.
Again, it comes down to the dollar, the almighty dollar. Why fix something whenever we can just have the consumer go and spend another $60 to $70 on official product and do it again, and do it again?
I'm gonna write a letter to Miyamoto. Dad, why aren't you returning my calls? So yes, we've gone over a lot of really just Nintendo bashing tonight, and that's been quite fun. We're winding down, getting to the final portions of our podcast tonight. So want to see if there's any closing thoughts, and then we'll just go around, have you guys plug your streams yet again, and we'll call it a night. And I'll go watch Rick and Morty. Gotta have that Dan Harmon, which, by the way, I didn't see any.
You still have Dan Harmon on the mind, huh?
Oh yeah, he's done some great work. He also, like, everyone has their controversies. Dan Harmon is no stranger to that. And I didn't find, by the way, Joho, I didn't find that he worked for The Simpsons. He did make Heat Vision and Jack, though.
I know he was one of the. I meant to say he was one of the writers group. They independently contracted during their first few seasons. And he was one of the.
I don't see it anywhere on Wikipedia.
Contracted.
Okay.
Nah, he's involved in it in a way, but yeah, even though his name's not on there.
Yeah, I'll find articles.
On a lot of the productions, so like on a lot of the ABC and NBC productions specifically, he's had a hand in them. Like, he'll be loosely credited. One of the writers will go to him for the help, or one of the producers, the directors will go to him for the help. So
yeah,
he's in it. He's in the thick of it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I really wanted to. So we started a conversation, and Pocket, and actually I really want to talk about this. You kind of hinted at it earlier about having a conversation about content creation in general and like where the numbers are, where they need to be, where we need to be as content creators, because I feel like that well is really deep. That's something that we can really go back to, because whether you're just starting out or you've been in the business, you've been in the game for as long as Bo Burnham has.
Yes.
A 10-year veteran or 10-plus-year veteran. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what scale you're in because there's always a depth of knowledge there that you can just go back to.
Yeah. So, do you guys have closing thoughts?
I'll go first. I don't mind. Yeah, I think that tonight we did hammer Nintendo a little bit, but you know what? I think it's well deserved. I think it's well earned. I think it's okay to talk about it, but I mean,
We only do it because we
Nintendo's
love
not
you.
the only one without.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo is just one of many companies that I have issues with, and a lot of people have issues with. And I mean, enjoy the games that they make. It's art. I think art should be appreciated at the end of the day. Take the capitalism on the other side and use your wallet to decide where you're going.
Yeah.
Like Joho was saying, I talk about content all the time. It's probably one of my key legs that I talk about on my podcast. And I have streamers that come over, YouTubers that come over, and we talk about content a lot. I think it's important, but hopefully we'll be able to do that in a future episode.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, thank you, Pocket. I really appreciate you having me back on.
Absolutely.
And I'll put my link into the chat. It's just Unjacked on Twitch. That's all you gotta see. Just Unjacked on all platforms, and you will find me.
Unjacked. Yeah, we can also go on to Kirblet. Guys, once again, these guys are amazing. If you're not following them, probably reassign your priorities. The Kirblet.
Yes.
Closing thoughts and I guess plugging yourself.
Well, closing thoughts. I think there can be a lot more than that Nintendo can do to improve its image, improve its relationship with the community, because it's always been a rocky roller coaster, to say the least. Here,
it's breaking my heart.
It is breaking my heart a little bit too. I hope they can get back on the on good terms, better terms, I should say, with the community, and improve its image. And I just hope for the best. Yes, I will still buy Nintendo products when they're made well and not schlocky content, so to speak. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on that. But yeah, for those who want to find me, thank you, Pocket. Yes, you can find me on twitch.tv/thekirblet. I've actually been, speaking of Zelda, I've actually been doing a Zelda multi-world randomizer with another Twitch streamer, Jimmy Changa.
Yes.
Yeah, that first one got scuffed. That I got soft locked.
Yes.
Oh yeah, but I'm going to be doing it again. We don't have a definitive date yet on that. That's going to be happening. But Tuesdays, I'll try to do some more Team Up Tuesdays with people.
Yes.
And if anyone is ever interested, I am always game for that. Yeah, hope to see everyone online, and thank you for having me once again, Pocket. It's always a pleasure.
I think is the first one who I actually did any type of co-thing with. I think it was Machinist who suggested Team Up Tuesday. He was going to you, and so we all went over, and that was.
I love Machinist.
Very delightful. Such delightful people. So hope to see people at the next Team Up Tuesday. Joho.
Yeah.
Joho, take us home.
Yeah, I did a lot of talking.
Yeah, don't make me cry.
That was me the last couple of podcasts.
I hope that if I do get invited back again, I can learn when to keep my mouth shut. So
it's great.
I
think it's important.
I have followed both of you gentlemen as well. So one thing that I love about content creation in general is that when you're on the smaller side, like I am, you get to do these collabs, and they're beneficial. But at the same time, you're getting exposure. You're getting your exposure increased. But you're getting a bigger scope of like who's out there, what they're doing, like content that you may not have, seen or heard of before, and you're like, man, that's really good. You learn things from it.
Yeah.
And you learn things from the content creators themselves, and then you move on and you grow that way too. So that's what I love about being a smaller creator, to where you're not, because I know a lot of bigger creators that are at that point to where it's just like, well, what am I going to get in return for it? Like my time is literally money right now. So how much money am I making off of your appearance? And it's like, to me, that just feels like that feels like a very shoddy practice. I'm just like, man, can I just do it for the growth? Can I do it for the growth of my community? Can I do it for the growth of myself? Can I do it for the growth of your community? Like, maybe they might not have seen me, my little 30 people that are following me or whatever. But yeah, I have been Joe the Joho. I have really appreciated this conversation. Again, same with you guys. I'm an avid consumer of Nintendo products for most of my life. I've had a Nintendo console, barring like 2.5 years of my life. I've always had a Nintendo console or a Nintendo product in my home. So like I speak from a place of like, let's make this better, not only as people but as a company and products. So because that's my big thing right now, is just like, if I'm going to give you money for it, I need to make sure that every single penny is being used, if not well, to my desires. So
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you all so much for having me. Thank you so much for keeping the conversations going. I'd love to talk some more.
No, it's great. And I learned personally so much from this. I mean, thank you all. Like Joho's saying, and there's another thing to go on about that, like the book Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, who sadly is no longer with us. Not that I know anything about his personal life, but he had a great book. He was the CEO of Zappos and sold it to Amazon, and his whole thing was about good customer experience and how that causes growth.
Great book, by the way.
Great book.
Wonderful book about Zappos.
I love how Unjacked
Everybody should read it.
Unjacked and I have read and seen like all the same things when it comes to
it is literally one of my favorite books, and I base my stream around those concepts.
I'll tell you, Unjacked.
I'll have to look into it.
When I used to run around the startup scene, I used to notice, similar to, there's like a page or two or a paragraph where it's like, there is this unconditional positive regard that you put out into the world when you meet people. And I used to run around the startup scene, and I would do that. And then 2 years later, I would see the same person randomly, something, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, it's Pocket! I've known you for years." Haven't interacted with him over those 2 years, but because I put that out there, there's this thing about a positive regard and time, and how it actually brings like stuff back. So I've noticed that in my real life, so I just wanted to note that to Jack. Yeah.
You are what you put out. Exactly. As a content creator, you are what you put out, and a lot of times that's the feedback you're given. So if you're a curmudgeon-y kind of like crotchety streamer, your fan base is going to be the same way. And so whenever they sit there and regurgitate the same things that you said and you don't like it, that's on you. Yeah, that's 100% on you. That's not on anybody else.
So we are going to have more of these exciting topics on the next time I'm able to get these guys back on. This has been absolutely delightful. It's been an honor to host you guys for any of this. Thank you so much for being here, and everyone who popped in for the ride. We are now going to, as tradition, head to a small streamer. If you guys have one that you want to choose, we like to raid any small streamer. Send them vibes. I have no idea what type of viewers we have right now, but they're going to appreciate it, and that's the great thing about small content creators. So, do you guys have a choice? If you don't, I'll send them to like Eudorora or Kanzi Cool is on. Any thoughts? Even chat.
No choice. None for me.
None for you. Going around.
I don't have anybody on right.
All right. Let's just go to
Yeet. Let's see. Let's rate Stock Nest Monster.
Yeah, I was looking at it for a second. Okay.
Yeah, Stock Nest. Let's go to rate Stock.
Let's go Stock. Doesn't Stock sit there with his TV in front of him?
I like to pop in a lot with Stock. It's just fun.
Doesn't Stock have like the TV in front of him? Isn't it hit? Like
yeah.
He has a
He's
video.
Also playing Donkey Kong Country 3 right now.
He has a video of like the camera is pointed at him as he watches as he plays the video game, like over the shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah, our good buddy Optimus Prime does the same thing. He uses all the original consoles.
It's so
great. He has the camera, his phone set over his shoulder, so it's like he's constantly looking back, and it's like you're in the same room hanging out and watching.
Yeah, exactly.
We're about to see this right now. Is that what you're saying to me?
We're about to see this. We're about to see this. If you have it pulled up,
bring
at
it.
least.
I'm ready.
Bring it.
I'm waiting.
We'll follow. We'll raid.
Now I also have to pull it up myself, and it's gonna have ads. It's always gonna have ads. If it- I'm like, wait, I'm gonna miss the raid. It's gonna be ads. Okay, whatever. That's fine. I'll leave you guys be. But thank you, everyone. You guys freaking rock. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for more fun. More fun. Let's raid.
Raid.
Raid. Shadow Legends. Okay, we have raided.
Oh God! Wow, really?
I had to. Not sponsored.